My family forgot my graduation on purpose, so I changed my name and never came back. People love to say families forget important days by accident. A busy schedule. A mix-up. A simple mistake. But when forgetting happens again and again, especially on the one day that matters most, it stops being an accident. It becomes a message. I had told my family about my graduation months in advance. I sent reminders in the group chat. I mentioned it during phone calls. I even wrote the date on the calendar hanging in the kitchen back home. Still, as the day got closer, no one asked how I felt or if I needed anything. The night before graduation, I sat alone in my apartment ironing my gown. My phone stayed silent on the table beside me. No good luck. No, we're proud of you. I told myself they were just busy. Deep down, I knew better. Graduation morning arrived cold and clear. I got dressed slowly, careful not to wrinkle my cap, careful not to let the emptiness in my chest show on my face. I checked my phone one last time before leaving. Nothing. At the ceremony, the auditorium was packed with families. Parents waved banners, held flowers, cried openly. I watched from my seat as classmates hugged their families before the ceremony even started. The empty seat beside me felt heavy. When my name was called, I walked across the stage alone. The dean shook my hand and smiled warmly. The photographer snapped a photo that would later sit in an envelope with no one to share it with. I scanned the crowd anyway. Still hoping. No familiar faces. No cheers. No one standing up. Afterward, I stood outside with my diploma folder clutched tightly in my hands, pretending to check my phone so no one would see how alone I felt. Families laughed around me. Someone popped champagne. A mother cried into her daughter's shoulder. I finally opened the family group chat. The last message wasn't a reminder or a question. It was a photo. My parents. My sister. My cousins. All smiling at a long table. Caption: Family brunch 2 hearts. My heart sank. I typed slowly. Today was my graduation. The typing dots appeared. Then disappeared. Then reappeared. Finally, my mother replied. Oh. Was that today? I stared at the screen, reading it over and over. My father followed. We assumed you'd be busy anyway. Your cousin's engagement brunch was already planned. Already planned. I called. No answer. Hours later, they finally came to my apartment, not with apologies, not with flowers, but with annoyance. You're overreacting, my mother said, sitting on my couch like nothing had happened. Graduation is just a formality. My father added, we didn't forget. We chose not to come. You've been distant lately. That sentence broke something inside me. They didn't forget. They decided I wasn't worth showing up for. I looked at my diploma on the table. I looked at the people who were supposed to celebrate it with me. And for the first time, I understood something clearly. If they could erase my biggest achievement so easily, then disappearing from their lives wouldn't change anything at all. I smiled and nodded. You're right, I said. They relaxed, satisfied they'd put me back in my place. They didn't know that was the last time they would ever speak to me as the person they knew. Because that night, after they left, I opened my laptop and stared at a blank form. Legal name change application. My hands shook as I hovered over the keyboard. This wasn't anger. It was clarity. And it was the beginning of my goodbye. I didn't tell anyone what I was planning. I learned long ago that my family only listened when something affected them, and this decision was no longer about them. The first thing I did was go silent. I stopped replying to messages. Muted the family group chat. Every photo, every update reminded me how easily they lived without me at the center of anything important. The silence felt strange at first, like holding my breath, but soon it felt like relief. A week later, I walked into the county office and asked for the name change forms. The clerk didn't ask why. She just slid the paperwork across the counter like this was an everyday thing. I stared at the blank space where my old name belonged. That name carried years of being overlooked, compared, dismissed. I chose a new one. When the stamp came down, something inside me settled. The person my family knew existed on paper, but not anymore. Next came the move. I accepted a job offer in another city, one my parents had always said was unrealistic and unstable. I packed quietly, donated what I didn't need, and left without telling anyone. My new apartment was small and plain, but it was mine. No expectations. No constant pressure to explain myself. I changed my number. Updated my email. Let my old social media accounts fade into silence and created new ones under my new name. It felt strange at first, introducing myself, correcting people, but soon it felt natural. I built routines. Morning walks. Cooking dinner. Evenings without anxiety. The hardest part wasn't leaving, it was unlearning the urge to share good news with people who never celebrated it. Months passed. I made friends who showed up. Co-workers who asked questions and actually listened. People who remembered small details about me without needing reminders. One afternoon, a package arrived. Inside was the official certificate confirming my name change. I held it in my hands for a long time. This wasn't revenge. It was survival. But while I was learning how to exist without them, they were starting to notice something was missing. And soon, they would realize that forgetting me had consequences they couldn't undo. Almost a year passed before my family finally realized I was gone. It started with a voicemail from an unfamiliar number. "Hey, it's Mom. Call me when you get this." I listened once, then deleted it. More messages followed, my father, my sister, even distant relatives. Confusion turned into irritation, then into concern. "Your mail keeps getting returned. Why can't we reach you? This isn't funny anymore." I didn't respond. One evening, my sister found my old email address and wrote, "We heard you changed your name. What kind of stunt is this?" I stared at the screen for a long time before replying with just one line. "It's not a stunt. It's a boundary." The messages stopped after that. Later, I heard through a cousin that my parents were telling people I'd lost my way, that I'd cut them off for no reason. I didn't correct them. I didn't need to. Because the reason was written clearly in my memory: the empty seat at my graduation, the brunch photo, the words we chose not to come. One quiet night, I came home from work, cooked dinner, and sat by the window watching the city lights flicker on. My diploma hung framed on the wall. No one else's expectations attached to it. I realized something then. They didn't lose me when I changed my name. They lost me when they decided I wasn't important enough to remember. I never went back. I never asked for apologies. I never explained myself again. Not out of anger, but because peace had finally found me, and I refused to trade it for people who couldn't show up when it mattered. My family forgot my graduation on purpose. So I chose myself on purpose. And that choice changed everything.